Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday Talks with Chug. Each week, we cover pressing topics that matter to you and your business. My name is Arianna Gonzalez, tuning in from the San Diego office. Please join me in welcoming Senior Tax Accountant Subbalakshmy Ganesan from our Santa Clara office. Hi there, Subbalakshmy, and welcome.
Hi, Arianna.
Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This conversation is for informational purposes only. It does not create an accountant-client relationship. So if you have questions, please email us at info@chuk.com and we'd love to help you out. Now let's get right into it. Can you tell me what is residential clean energy credit?
Yes, so residential clean energy credit is a tax credit designed to motivate the homeowners to invest in a renewable energy system for their homes. So it allows the taxpayer to offset their federal income tax liability by 30%. So they can take 30% of the cost installed for the energy system as a tax credit. And this is eligible from 2022 to 2020 uh, 2032 for the installation they do it in that particular year.
Wow, that sounds pretty promising. So how do I claim this residential clean energy credit? Can you tell me something about that?
Yes, so the residential clean energy credit needs to be prepared on Form 5695, which will go along with the tax return. So this is a separate form from IRS, which you need to fill out with the tax return. And you need to also provide information about the type of energy system installed, the cost of the energy system, and you must also claim the credit for the tax year which the property is installed, and not when it was purchased. So only after the installation, the date of installation is very important for claiming this credit.
So the date of installation is very important. So is the credit refundable or non-refundable?
Yes, the residential clean energy credit is a non-refundable credit, meaning it can only reduce your tax liability to zero. Any excess credit cannot be refunded to you, but it may be carried forward to the future years.
That's really good to know. So what types of renewable energy systems qualify for this credit?
Yes, so there are a lot of lists as you see on the IRS website, but I will go through the major ones. So the few of them are qualified renewable energy systems, which include solar electric property, solar water heating property, small wind energy property, heat pumps property, and fuel cell property. And this everything should be a new purchase, and any used property is not eligible for this. Like we cannot take a credit for the used properties. So it should be all new installed in that year.
Okay, that sounds pretty great. If you're watching this and you have questions about if you qualify for this, reach out to us. We'd love to help you out with this. So, do I need to meet any requirements to qualify for this credit? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so as the name mentioned, it is for residents. You must meet certain requirements to qualify for the credit, such as installing the system in your primary residence and meeting specific efficiency standards set by the IRS, such as you must own the house. It can be primary home and it can be secondary home, but not rented out, but it is vacant. And also, you should own the solar property that you're installing. You cannot lease the property, it should be your own property.
Got it. Those are some really important things we need to keep in mind to see if we qualify for this credit. So let's touch on documentation. What kind of documentation do I need to claim the residential clean energy credit? Is there any documentation required? What does that look like?
Yeah, so there is a like specific documents we require. So when you have the solar installed, when you go to your accountant or your tax consultant, you need to carry the particular documentation that verifies the cost of the system, efficiency ratings, and also to check if it is meets all the eligibility requirements. So this may include like invoices from the solar consultants or the receipts or any certification and all kind of installation documents which mention the cost of the property, also like if it is already eligible for the credit as per the solar requirements.
What about expiration dates? Is there an expiration date for claiming this clean energy credit or, can we do it anytime?
Yeah, so right now we have the option to claim the credit from 2022 tax year to 2032. There's no expiration date for the solar credit. The credit can be taken in the year the solar is installed, and you can take the 30% credit on the cost of the solar property.
Wow, that sounds promising. So, what about combining this with other incentives? Can we combine the residential clean energy credit with other incentives or rebates? Is that allowed?
Yes, Ariana. So that is one most advantageous thing that we can do. In many cases, we can combine the residential clean energy credit with other federal, state incentives and rebates for installations. So there are other credit also, such as energy vehicle credit for plug-in cars or the home improvement credit. So that can be all combined in the tax return.
What about if I'm renting my home? Are we still able to claim this clean energy credit if I'm just renting? Or does this only apply to owners?
Yeah, so there is the catch there. So this credit are available only for certain improvements made to second homes, and the credit are never available when the improvements are made to homes not used as a residence by the taxpayer. So if it is a rented property, they can use the credits for improvements for any home they rent out, but do not use any residence themselves, then they cannot take this credit. It's not available for the tenants.
Okay, wow, that's really good to know. So let's touch on primary residences. Do I need to install the renewable energy system in my primary residence to claim the credit, or does that really matter?
Yeah, so these credits are available only for certain improvements made to second homes and it's mostly for the primary residence. So you should be staying in that home and it can be also secondary home like it's like a vacation home or secondary home, but you are using it for your own purpose, then you can claim this credit.
Okay, so there is kind of a loophole. We can use it for a secondary home, but we have to be occupying that home and own
Right.
that home.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, that's good to know. So, are there any income limitations for claiming this energy credit? Can anybody claim it? Doesn't matter what their income is. What does that look like?
Yeah, so for this credit, there's no limit to the number of times you can claim the energy credit. As long as you install the in system in your primary residence, you can take up to 30% of the credit, and it will not affect. It is not based on any limitations, income limitation, or any what do you say, any other limitations. Yeah.
Perfect. So I know you touched on I just want to confirm this with you. I can claim the residential clean energy credit for a second home, right?
Yes, yeah, we already spoke about that in the previous also. Yes, you can take the solar credit on your second home, just like how would you do it on your primary residence?
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that was clear for everybody tuning in. So is there a limit to the number of times I can claim the residential clean energy credit?
So there's no limit as such. So you can claim this credit in the year that you install. Suppose you have installed it this year, you can claim it this year. And if you again do it in the next couple of years, you can claim it in the each year that you install the solar property.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really good to know. Thanks for sharing that with us. So, what happens if I, for example, install a renewable energy system and then I move? Can I still claim the credit? Does that go down the drain? What happens then?
Yeah, so this is little catchy. Yes, you may you like if you move for after installing a renewable energy system, you may still be eligible to claim the residential clean energy credit for the tax year in which the system was placed in service. However, you must have owned the property and the primary residence, and you should have stayed there for at least like half of the year so that you can claim that credit.
Okay, that's good to know. So, what happens if I finance this installation? Can I still claim the residential clean energy credit if I finance the installation of the system? Does that matter at all?
Yes, you can still claim the residential clean energy credit if you finance the installation of the system. However, like you can only claim the credit for the year in which the system is placed in service, regarding of the financing method used. So even if you are paying the lease or the interest over the periods, like you can only claim it during the year it was placed in service, only in that particular year.
Understood. Thanks for sharing that with us. So, can I carry forward any unused portion of the residential clean energy credit to future tax years? Does that apply?
Yes, any unused portion of the credit that can be carried forward to the future years until the credit is fully utilized. So you can carry it forward.
Fantastic. That's great to know. And do I need to hire a certified installer to qualify for the credit? Can I, hire somebody to do it myself? And what does
Yeah,
that
so
look
it is
like?
always better to hire a licensed installer to get the credit because we need specific ratings that needs to be accepted by the IRS. So we always like recommend to get it from a licensed installer.
Got it. So we need to be careful who we're hiring to install this and make sure they're licensed and certified to make sure that we actually get credit for this. Got it. So how do I report the residential clean energy credit on my tax return? What does that look like? Do I need to reach out to my accountant for that?
Yes, you need to reach out to your tax consultant. So this is a very simple form which goes with your tax return, the IRS form 5695. So the residential energy credits needs to be uh, reported there, and it will be the cost of the and like the property that it was installed, and you will arrive at 30% of the credit from that.
Wonderful. So if you're watching this and you have questions, reach out to your trusted tax accountant. We'd love to help you out with it, and they can definitely guide you in the right direction for this. So can I claim the residential clean energy credit for energy efficient appliances or upgrades? Does that apply here?
Yeah, so this particular credit, residential clean energy credit, is only for the residences. So where we actually do the solar credit. So it will not be applicable for the appliances and upgrades. This is mainly for the solar roof or any other like big installations. But there's an other credit called the energy efficient home improvement credit, which will help you to take credit for exterior doors, windows, and skylight installations. So that is also an energy credit, but it's for the improvement of the home.
Got it. So you've been mentioning residences a lot. So is a residential clean energy credit available for only residences or also businesses and commercial properties?
Yes, so in this case, the residential clean energy credit is only available for residential properties. However, there's a separate tax incentive and credits available for business or commercial properties investing in renewable energy. But this credit specifically mentions for residents, not for businesses. But if you use your home for business purposes, you won't be able to take this credit. But if you are using your home partly for business, that is like less than 20% of the uh, home is used for business, then you can take the full credit. But if it is more than 20% of business use, this cannot be used. This credit cannot be taken.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some leeway there. If you're not completely using your residence for business, then you might still apply. So one last question for you, Subbalakshmi. What advice do you have for somebody who wants to claim or see if they qualify for the residential clean energy credit? What's the first thing they should do?
Yeah, so they should always for the actually like nowadays there are new homes that are coming up and they have the installation already like installed in their home. So when you buy the home, it is already comes with the solar roofs and solar property. So in that case, you need to have the documents from the buyer when you buy the home and keep it ready. And when you meet your tax consultant, you need to take all this documentation so that they can take it in your the credit in your business take this credit in your tax return. So we will not have any separate invoices or anything in that case, so it should come from the buyer. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. I really appreciate your time and you sharing all of this with us. So, that is all we have time for today. So, this does bring us to the end of our conversation. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. A special thank you to you, Subbalakshmy, for sharing your insights with us. To stay up to date, please subscribe and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Make sure to give this video a like if it was helpful. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please email us anytime at info@chuk.com. Let us know what topic you want to see next, and make sure to join us back here next week for more pressing topics that truly matter to you and your business. Until next time, stay safe and take care, everyone. Thank you again for joining us.